Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today in this video we're going to be taking a look at that's right, we're going to be taking a look at the Beefy computer, the iconic office PC that was seen in Counterstrike Source and, well, probably also in every school, home, business, at least in some version, way, shape, or form in the early 2000s. Let's just get started and see what this thing can do. So first off, what is this thing and why did I call it the Beefy computer and why am I so excited to start tackling this thing? Well, a couple months ago, I released a video that was called So Many Dells, in which I somehow had acquired 5 or 6 of these iconic Dell Dimensions from the early 2000s. And when I say iconic, that's not exaggerating or hyperbolic, whatever the term is. There's no joking with that. This is the quintessential early 2000s Windows XP computer. These things were everywhere. In some capacity, the Dell Dimension and its sister machine, the Optiplex, regardless of the model number, was somewhere. You saw them in schools, you saw them in businesses, home offices, home use. And once they were done with their primary purpose, a lot of times they were offloaded into the secondhand and even third-hand markets. These things lasted forever. There's so many people that have memories with these things that you almost can't not think of Windows XP in the early 2000s and see one of these Dell Dimensions or Optiplexes. But this particular one is also iconic for another reason. This machine, not this exact one, this is the Dell Dimensions 8400, but the Dell Dimensions that had this exact same design aesthetic, the 8400, 8300, I think there was a 6400 that had this exact same design shell. The asset was used in arguably one of the more famous games from the early 2000s and Windows XP itself, which also defined the Windows XP era, Counterstrike Source. This was the computer asset used in the office level of Counterstrike Source. Asterisk. The physical outward appearance asset was used for that. However, there's a bit of a argument about the actual computer used in Counter-Strike Office, because the outside appearance was the Dell Dimension here, but the insides were not. So anyway, the internals of the ones in the game, once you broke the side shell off, was completely different than the internals of this actual machine. It was an Asus board. It was a Pentium 4 or an Athlon XP, an ATI Radeon 9800 or 9600 EGP video card. Regardless of that fact, the outward appearance of this machine is what was used for the office setup in the game. And there's been several videos of people doing this exact same thing with the various models of this designed Dell Dimension, getting it to play Counter-Strike. And I'm going to toss my hat into the ring on this one. Bingus Studios did a video doing this exact same thing with one of his models, getting it to play Counter-Strike. So we're going to see what this one needs, get Windows XP installed, and then see if we can get Steam and Counter-Strike Source installed on here in some way and see how it handles it in its stock configuration, and then figure out some potential possible upgrades for this bad boy. So let's just crack her open and see what we got. Now, I didn't say restoration because this thing doesn't need much. It's actually extremely clean, especially on the inside. So this thing literally just needs whatever fixed with the boot problem was when I did the Dell Dimensions video. And then see if it boots up and see what we can do about it. First, I got to remember which RAM stick was dead. I put it back in here stupidly, and I don't know why I did that. So yeah, anyway, this opens up completely different from other Dimensions. And that this one opens up like, well, like a semi-truck. It's open. Look at all this space. This is when Dell cared. So in that Dell Dimensions video, I did not go into a lot of detail about what all was in here because I kind of wanted to keep it a bit of a surprise. And that's because this machine is iconic for another reason. This one's almost historical. And that's because in 2004, when the 8400 here came out, this was the future. And I'm almost not kidding with that. We have 4 512 megabyte sticks of DDR2 RAM. This is actually one of the earliest machines to use DDR2 RAM. We have a standard ATX power supply with a 6-pin PCIe connector like most modern power supplies have. Under the cooler here, we have one of the earliest implementations of LGA 775. Right before this, it was socket 478 and a GP. I'll come back to that in a second. But this was actually one of the earliest examples of LJ775, the land grid array that Intel is still using to this day. Well, the design anyway. And now AMD is using. So yeah, we have the first version of LJ775, which went on, I think, even up until like 2010, 2011, you can still buy new boards with that socket. And attached to that is the earliest revision of the PCIe Express. Yes, this uses this same Express connector as the current AMD and NVIDIA and Intel card. So theoretically, I could put a 770 in here. I could put a 3090 in here. I could put a 5500 XT in here, and it would work. Power supply wise, probably not. We also have a SATA connector. Yes, SATA existed before this point, but it was kind of more of an afterthought thing, like, oh hey, here's your IDE port, but here's SATA if you want to spend the money. No. This came with SATA. In fact, the hard drive itself was running off SATA. This was actually one of the fastest machines on the market in 2004 in terms of hard drive speed. According to the review I read anyway. This thing is epically awesome. So in terms of graphics power, we have another interesting historical card here, in essence anyway. This unassuming little PCIe card is the ATI X300 SE, which is the re-release of the original X300, which literally came out with this machine. This particular one came out in 2005, but it's identically spec'd to the 2004 model, with the exception of this. The X300, what makes it special is that this is actually one of the earliest PCIe cards, meaning I'm holding one of the first PCIe cards with one of the first DDR2 based machines, one of the earliest LJ775 machines, with the earliest implementation on the consumer level of SATA as a primary hard drive source. This is an epic machine, and I'm really curious to see what it can do with all these stock parts. And to test this thing out, we're going to swap it out for my Windows 95 PC, because I want to use that monitor with it. Technically, the Counterstrike Source machine should have used a, somebody did the research on it, it was like a 1505 FP, which that is not it, but that came out in 2005, and that actually replaced and superseded the 1505 FP. So it's technically the same monitor, just different. I'm not going to try and recreate with the peripherals and stuff. I don't want to try and track down the weird keyboard. So yeah, let's see what this needs and go from there. Back to boot. It took me a lot of trial and error to figure out which RAM sticks were bad, and I think it's I didn't mark this one. Crap. Anyway, it's one of these two RAM sticks. I pulled all the RAM sticks out and one at a time, popped them in until I got a dead one, and it's one of these two. But I've got them set to both sticks are in the first channel, so it's dual channel of 1 GB RAM, 512 megs each, which is good. So now it does boot, except I get the boot error of drive 0 not found, and that is because the 160 GB Barracuda drive it booted once, but it was really noisy. Like, it was, oh god, I wish I would have got some audio of that, because it sounded awesomely awful. Like, it almost sounded like an old IDE drive from like the 90s that has DOS on it. That's how noisy it was. But unfortunately, that means I do not want to use this drive long term. So I went to my bin of parts and I found this Seagate Barracuda 80 gigabyte drive. Yes, it's a lot. It's half the capacity of the original one, but that's fine. It's just going to be a single drive. If I need to, I can pop a second drive in here and get it to work. But the thing is, 80 gigabytes, that's actually a lot of space on Windows XP. I mean, I think Windows XP only takes up maybe, I think it's like a couple gigs by itself. And all the games I'm going to put on here to at least try this thing out is not going to take up much more than 10 gigabyte. I could, in theory, this thing has 3 more ports. I could hook up 3 more drives and rock this thing in RAID, which that's another thing I forgot to mention earlier. The RAID capabilities of this thing could take, I think it was like 1.5 terabytes of raw storage in RAID, which, okay, yeah, that doesn't sound like a lot today. Oh, you can do that in a single SD card or a single hard drive. But back in 2004, 1 terabyte was unheard of. So it's like, anyway, we're going to install XP on here. And I even went online and I found the drivers for this and the actual version of XP Home Edition, Service Pack 3, with all the drivers included for this thing. So we're going to pop this hard drive in, install XP, and next time you see it, we should be booted into Windows next to this one. Oh boy. Forgive me, retro fans, for I have sinned. The only USB keyboard I have that's like easily accessible is this RGB-ish cheapo gaming keyboard. But hey, I do have this mouse here, which is just the black version of the one that was in the game. So I have the ish monitor. I have the keyboard. Let's try it out. Uh-oh. So never give me the locks up there. Oh, this ain't good. Okay, I'm gonna try something else because that's locking up. So maybe there's something wrong with that keyboard. Wouldn't think there would have been, but okay, there's a problem with the keyboard. Keyboard failure. Uh-oh. The heck? Oh, this is not going to be good if I can't get this thing to boot. Keyboard failure. Oh, no. I'm having so much fun with this. Okay. Okay, let's try keyboard number 3. This is weird. I've never heard of a keyboard failing like that. Like, I've never heard of a keyboard, like, stopping a boot process. Oh, no. Okay, so that hard drive's not being detected. Okay. Hey. All right. This was a trip. So this hard drive here, this 80 gigabyte one, did not want to detect. I don't know what happened. I got Windows installed and then it crapped out and died, I guess, which is the thing that happens with these old hard drives. I mean, I guess I could install this to an SSD, but I want spinning rust on this. And oh yeah, fire protection. Yeah, don't need that. But we have some games, we have some benchmarks. I want to benchmark this thing with versus 3D Mark 03. I just kind of realized I don't have 3D Mark 03 on this one, so I really can't compare them. But I also have 3D Mark 05, so maybe we can kind of see some comparisons. Okay, so we have Intel Pentium 4 3 gigahertz, Radeon X300 with Microsoft Windows XP. We're going to leave it at 1024 by 768. No anti-aliasing, optimal textual filtering, Enter 4, optimal vertex shaders, repeat test off, fixed frame rate off. All the tests. and run 3D Mark, see how it looks. Okay, so we have a score of 2,047 3D marks. Okay, and obviously I have no point of reference for that. So while that was going, I installed and got the other XP machine going, which I learned something new while doing this. I believe one of my video cards was faulty. Started running it, and there was a bunch of just graphical corruption all over the screen. I popped out GPU 2, and it immediately went away. So after getting done recording this video, I'm going to pop this into slot 1 on my Q95 machine here, and Q96, whatever, this machine here, and see if it is actually this card or not. I hope it's not, because I really like the idea of having SLI in this machine. If it is dead, nothing I can really do about it. I'll just have to try to track down another 8800 GTS. That's 640 megabyte. So I kind of want to wait to see how, when this one gets done, to see how this one's going to compare to it. But while it's going, I'm going to see if I can get a game going. Well, let's try the PC melter itself. Will this thing run Crysis? Ooh, maybe not. It kind of just froze. So maybe this thing can't run Crysis. Ooh. I spoke too soon. Okay, so this one got done. And this PC was 2047 in its current configuration. Now, yes, true. This has the X300, which is not a gaming GPU at all. It's actually one of the weakest and earliest of the PCIe cards. And this one's here is rocking a 8800 GTS, which has like almost 5 times the RAM as that one. And it's actually gaming rated, but 34,040 3D marks. So there's like a 15x performance increase from a single core hyper-threaded Pentium 4 at 3 gigahertz to a 3 gigahertz full quad core plus GPU. Plus this has double the RAM and faster RAM, actually. I think this one's limited to like 667, I think, and this one's 800. So yeah, let's play some Crysis. Options, game settings. Everything looks okay. System settings. Okay, so graphics, 800 by 600. I don't remember what I did it on this one. at all. I have to go back and look. Optimal settings. What have I done? System setting to low spec. Oh gosh. Yeah. August 7th, 2020. I just realized that's 6 years ago.
This is Dr. Helena Rosenthal.
We're in the past. I mean, I know there's audio recording because OBS says there's audio, but I'm getting nothing. Oh my god, this is... Oh, this is awful. I don't want it. Oh god.
Whatever. $50 says this Rosenthal ain't the real reason we're here. Lock it up, team. Stay focused. We got limited intel going.
Oh lord.
This
is so bad. This is so bad.
We're on our own. Shoots on my command.
Oh jeez, the bubbles look so...
What's your status?
But it's playing it, so it does run Crisis. Oh, there's some... Ooh, it lagged right there.
Prophet, I've made it to the beach.
You hit the water pretty hard. Some of your suit functions are offline. Let me run a quick diagnostic.
Oh man, there's so much... Like, it's so awful. Okay, so this thing will play Crisis, which I am ecstatic that it does that. But that's not the game we were here for, are we? So we want to see if this thing will play Counterstrike Source. There's a bit of a problem. I tried to load up... I went on the internet and tried to download Steam on this. It was going to take like 80 hours to download Steam and all the updates. Plus, Steam no longer supports Windows XP, which means I really can't realistically play Counterstrike Source on this at this current moment. So anyway, let's play some Counterstrike Source. Sorry, I got a little parched. I had to go upstairs and get some rum and a little bit of grog too. Let's do some bots. We'll do 3 bots. Let's see if it'll load up Office. I just realized I didn't check the video settings of what this was set to. This is either going to look awful or it's going to look awesome. You're playing Counterstrike Source. Okay. I will be counterterrorism. Ooh, ah.
Okay, let's go.
Hey, it's playing. Oh, Ron was the enemy? I died within like 2 seconds. Let's try this again. Oh my god, I feel so stupid. I thought he was... It didn't say he was an enemy right away. I'll be counterterrorism.
Okay, let's go.
Seems to be playing it pretty good. Why is it every once in a while I want to like right click and turn into an object? Oh, hey, look! Whoa! It's so meta. Look at that. Where's its enemy? Like, I haven't seen him at all. Where is he? Okay, well, there's these guys. Okay.
There, he's stabilized for the moment.
HQ, come in here.
You're Kane, right? My name's Anderson. Here, let me heal you. You're good to go, Marine. If you get hurt, find a medic. They'll heal you up.
HQ, this is Rhino Squad. Please respond.
So yeah, the Counterstrike Source Office PC, the beefy computer, plays Counterstrike Source. It worked phenomenally well on the office level with a few bots. Obviously, I died right away the first shot, and the second shot I didn't find the enemy at all. But it plays that just fine, and it even played Crisis at very low settings. Not well, but it played at very low settings. I kind of did not have a frame counter going, so I had no idea, but I wanted to make sure I got as much performance as possible. Which still, granted, according to the video stress test for Counter-Strike, this thing's getting 61 FPS, which is, considering it's a single core, hyper-threaded, 3 GHz Pentium 4 and a X300 PCIe video card with 128 megabytes of VRAM and 1 GB total system memory, that's actually really good to me. Yeah, it doesn't compare much to my 2008 era, Core 2 quad, overclocked with, well, would have been dual 8800 GTs. Obviously, I'm having a fault with one, but it runs games just fine. And yeah, you probably saw a few more games on my desktop that I could have played, like Doom 3, Quake 4, and some others. But this video is mainly about Counter-Strike Source here. I'm definitely going to be using this thing to play a few more games here in the upcoming future, especially when I do some upgrades to this thing. This is actually the weakest video card it could take, the X300. I did see on some of the driver lists it could take the 6600 GT or the X800 XT from ATI. And I do want to try and find either one of those cards and see if I can bump the performance of this. Maybe increase the RAM to maybe 2 GB. Obviously with these two dead sticks here, I'm down to 1 GB, but maybe see if I can put two 1 gig sticks in and see if it'll bump the performance a little bit from there. I do have some XMS2 I could pop in here, but that's a future video. I'm just ecstatic that not only does this thing just flipping work with very little work, as you saw with me just putting new thermal paste and taking the dead RAM sticks out and the dead hard drive, it plays games super well. And this is going to be an amazing little computer to play. Well, little subjective here. Amazing computer to use to play games of the early 2000s, from like 2001 to about 2008. That's kind of what the goal with this. It was to have a single core Pentium 4 machine meant for gaming so that I can play early XP era titles. Or this one's going to be playing the later XP era titles where you needed dual core at minimum. And obviously there's going to be a dual core PC at some point built here in the future, but that's future stuff. Anyway, this was a heck of a lot of fun, and if you want to see this thing, and you're definitely going to be, but anyway, this thing was a heck of a lot of fun, and this thing was a heck of a lot of fun, and you're definitely going to be seeing this thing in the future, especially for some upgrade videos. With that being said, thank you all so much for watching this video. Really hope you enjoyed taking a look at the Beefy PC from Counter-Strike Source. Put down in the comments any games you want to see me run on this thing or try to run on this thing, whether they're on the desktop or not. I mean, I'll be interested to try out and see what games this thing can and can't do, and be on the lookout for some more future projects involving Windows and computers. So that means that, again, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.